What if Canada's landscape isn't as stable as we think? From Niagara Falls to the Arctic, the ground beneath us may be hiding secrets that could change what we know about Earth.
It's been so frigid by the falls, the locals predict the water will soon freeze over. Already, the area around the falls has turned into ice.
In recent years, scientists have uncovered discoveries so startling they read like a geological thriller. Beneath Niagara Falls, sensors have picked up mysterious fractures and shifting caverns, raising questions about the long-term stability of one of the world's most iconic waterfalls. Could the thunderous giant we all thought eternal be eroding faster than anyone imagined? Travel north to Nunavut, and the story grows even stranger. In the icy rock of the Canadian Shield, geologists confirm the existence of some of the oldest rocks on Earth, over 4 billion years old, dating back almost to the planet's birth. Yet these ancient stones aren't just museum pieces. They tell a tale of early oceans, lost continents, and maybe even the conditions for the first sparks of life itself. And in between these extremes, Ontario, Quebec, Yukon, and the Northwest Territories, Canada's geological map is being redrawn. Fault lines once thought dormant are stirring. Glaciers are retreating, leaving behind unstable valleys and hidden flood risks. Vast stretches of permafrost are collapsing as the Arctic warms, reshaping entire ecosystems and possibly adding stress to forgotten faults like Tintina. From Niagara's crumbling cliffs to Nunavut's billion-year-old bedrock, these discoveries prove one thing. Canada is not the calm, unshakable land we once believed. It is alive, restless, and still revealing its deepest secrets. So the question is, how much longer can the ground beneath Canada keep its secrets hidden? Chapter 1. Cracks beneath Niagara. Niagara Falls has thundered for thousands of years, an unstoppable wall of water crashing between the US and Canada. Power. It has carved valleys, powered industries, and drawn millions of visitors' admiration. To most, it feels eternal awe. But to geologists, Niagara is fragile, and recent discoveries prove just how vulnerable it is. Behind the veil of water lies a cliff of limestone and shale. The problem? Shale is weak, prone to crumbling. As millions of gallons of water slam into it every minute, the cliff face retreats. Historically, at nearly a meter per year. Engineers have slowed that pace with diversion channels, but the process hasn't stopped. Now, sensors placed beneath the falls have picked up new fractures, suggesting entire sections of cliff are destabilizing. Hidden caverns echo with strange tremors. Rockfalls, once rare, are becoming more frequent. Some scientists warn that within decades, Niagara could undergo a catastrophic collapse, reshaping the iconic waterfall forever. Imagine if one day the world woke up to find Niagara Falls not roaring with glory, but crumbling in chaos. Could one of Earth's greatest wonders be far more temporary than we think? Chapter 2. Nunavut's billion-year-old bedrock. If Niagara's story is one of fragility, Nunavut's is one of eternity. Here, in the vast, icy reaches of the Canadian Shield, lies a discovery that stunned the world. Rocks more than 4 billion years old, making them some of the oldest ever found on Earth. These stones, discovered along Hudson Bay in the Nunavut Greenstone Belt, predate most of the continents we know today. They were forged in Earth's infancy, when the planet was still cooling from its fiery birth. To hold one is to hold time itself. But these rocks are not just relics. They carry clues to mysteries we've barely begun to solve. Chemical traces suggest they formed near early oceans, in conditions that may have nurtured the first sparks of life. Some geologists believe they even contain microfossils. tiny whispers of organisms from a time when Earth was barely habitable. And yet, these priceless geological treasures are controversial. After researchers damaged sections of the outcrop through oversampling, Inuit communities restricted further access. For them, the rocks are not only scientific artifacts, but sacred parts of their land. It raises an unsettling question. Who owns Earth's oldest secrets? The scientists who seek answers, or the people who have lived alongside them for millennia? What's certain is this: Nunavut has forced the world to look again at Earth's beginnings. Canada doesn't just hold part of the planet, it holds its first chapter. Chapter 3. The sleeping giant of Yukon, the Tintina Fault. In the far north of Yukon lies a scar in the earth that few Canadians know about, but it may be one of the most dangerous geological features in the entire country. It's called the Tintina Fault, and scientists are beginning to whisper its name with the same unease that Californians speak of the San Andreas. Stretching more than 1,200 kilometers from Alaska across Yukon into the Northwest Territories, the Tintina is a massive strike-slip fault, two slabs of crust grinding sideways past each other. For decades, textbooks dismissed it as dormant, a relic of an ancient era, but new LiDAR scans and satellite imaging reveal otherwise. Rivers have been displaced by hundreds of meters. Valleys abruptly twist off course. Ancient sediments record massive quakes long before human memory. And in recent years, sensors have picked up clusters of microquakes, tiny tremors deep below, like whispers of something stirring. The evidence suggests the Tintina could still rupture, and if it does, scientists estimate it could unleash a quake of up to a magnitude 7.5. That's strong enough to shatter highways, collapse pipelines, and isolate entire communities. Unlike California, where seismic codes and drills are routine, Yukon is woefully unprepared. The Tintina is Canada's sleeping giant. The question haunting scientists now is simple. Is it merely resting, or is it waking up? Chapter 4. Magma beneath British Columbia. Most people don't realize it, but Canada has volcanoes, many of them, and some are not as quiet as they appear. In British Columbia, deep beneath snow-capped peaks and turquoise lakes, magma is stirring. The Mount Garibaldi volcanic field has been classified as a very high threat by Natural Resources Canada. Why? Because beneath its glaciers sits a restless volcanic system, capable of explosive eruptions and devastating lahars, volcanic mudflows that could barrel down valleys and wipe out communities. Nearby, the Franklin Glacier complex tells another story. Though heavily eroded, new surveys suggest it was once a powerful volcanic center. Evidence of geothermal activity hints that magma still lurks below, waiting for the right trigger. And then there are the whispers of magma corridors, hidden underground highways of molten rock connecting volcanoes across the Pacific Northwest. Some scientists believe British Columbia's volcanic giants may be linked more closely than once thought. If true, pressure building in one could influence another, raising the spectre of a chain reaction. For centuries, Canada's volcanoes have been quiet, overshadowed by legends like Yellowstone or Mount St. Helens. But quiet doesn't mean safe. In British Columbia, the land is restless, and magma beneath the mountains reminds us that Canada's west isn't just beautiful, it's volatile. Chapter 5. Permafrost in peril. The Arctic is collapsing. In Canada's far north, the ground itself is vanishing. What looks solid, rocky tundra, moss-covered hills, frozen valleys, is in truth a fragile skin, held together by permafrost, soil and sediment locked in ice for thousands of years. But now, that ice is thawing. As the Arctic warms at nearly 4 times the global average, permafrost across Nunavut, the Northwest Territories, and Yukon is collapsing. Roads buckle. Buildings tilt at strange angles. Entire hillsides slump like melting wax. The land is literally sinking beneath the feet of northern communities. But the danger isn't just surface damage. Thawing permafrost releases vast amounts of methane, a potent greenhouse gas that accelerates global warming. And geologically, it destabilizes everything. Frozen ground once helped buffer stress along faults. Thawed, waterlogged soil amplifies seismic waves. An earthquake in permafrost zones could hit far harder than expected. Worse, new research suggests that melting permafrost may be redistributing pressure underground, nudging fault systems like the Tintina closer to movement. Climate change and geology are not separate. They are colliding forces, each amplifying the other. The Arctic is collapsing, not just in ecosystems or communities, but in the very foundation of the land. And as the ground softens, the risks harden.
Chapter 6.
Hidden flood hazards of the prairies. When most people think of Canada's prairies, they imagine endless fields of wheat, flat horizons, and steady ground. But beneath that calm surface lies another secret: an unstable relationship with water. The prairies are carved by the ghosts of glaciers, massive ice sheets that retreated 10,000 years ago, leaving behind valleys, buried river channels, and ancient lakes. Many of those hidden features are invisible to the eye, but modern mapping has revealed their danger. Across Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and Alberta, scientists have identified paleochannels, ancient rivers now filled with loose sediment. During heavy rains or rapid snowmelt, water can surge through these buried channels, destabilizing the land above. Entire fields can flood overnight. Roads can collapse without warning. The greatest risk? These hidden channels often connect to modern river systems. During extreme weather, something becoming more common with climate change, these ghost rivers can suddenly come back to life, amplifying floods and reshaping the prairies. Farmers already battle rising water tables, slumping soils, and lakes that mysteriously expand. Now, scientists warn that much of the prairie landscape is more fragile than anyone realized. The next big flood may not come from the Red or the Saskatchewan River. It may rise from the buried rivers we forgot. Beneath the breadbasket of Canada lies a hidden flood map, written not in ink, but in ice. And that map may hold the key to the prairie's next disaster.
Chapter 7.
Ontario's underground mysteries. The Sudbury Crater. Ontario hides one of the most dramatic scars on Earth, so vast that most people don't even notice it beneath their feet. It's called the Sudbury Basin, and it isn't just any geological feature. It's the remnant of one of the largest asteroid impacts in history. Around 1.85 billion years ago, a space rock at least 10 kilometers wide slammed into what is now northern Ontario. The force was unimaginable, releasing energy millions of times greater than the Hiroshima bomb, vaporizing rock, and carving out a crater more than 60 kilometers across. Today, Sudbury is a mining hub. Its riches a direct result of that ancient impact. Nickel, copper, and precious metals were concentrated in the molten chaos, creating one of the world's richest mining districts. Every smartphone, every electric vehicle battery owes something to this cataclysm. But the Sudbury Crater is more than an economic boon. Scientists study it as a window into Earth's past, and even as an analogue for Mars. The shattered rocks and melted layers reveal what happens when cosmic forces rewrite a planet's surface. And here's the haunting thought: if Earth has been struck like this before, could it happen again? Ontario's Sudbury Basin is a reminder that Canada's geology is not just shaped by Earth, but by the heavens.
Chapter 8. Quebec's ancient earthquakes.
Quebec is famous for its culture and history, but hidden beneath its bedrock lies another story, one of violent shaking. The Charlevoix seismic zone, northeast of Quebec City, is one of the most active earthquake regions in eastern Canada. For centuries, tremors have rattled the St. Lawrence Valley, some strong enough to topple chimneys and crack walls. The most infamous, in 1663, terrified settlers and indigenous peoples alike. Reports tell of landslides, riverbanks collapsing, and the ground rolling like waves at sea. Scientists now believe this seismic hotspot is partly linked to an ancient scar, a massive meteorite impact crater buried beneath Charlevoix. The fractured crust, combined with regional fault systems, creates a perfect recipe for recurring earthquakes. The danger today is very real. Modern seismologists warn that a quake of magnitude 6 or 7 in the Charlevoix region could devastate communities, disrupt power grids, and ripple across the densely populated St. Lawrence corridor. And unlike the West Coast, Quebec is not built for it. Buildings here aren't designed to sway with tremors. Bridges, highways, and even historic architecture could crumble under forces long forgotten but far from gone. Quebec's earthquakes remind us of a chilling truth. Even places that feel safe, quiet, and stable are often sitting on forgotten scars, waiting for the right moment to awaken. At the far eastern edge of Canada, where the Atlantic crashes against rugged cliffs, lies a geological frontier older than the ocean itself. Newfoundland and Labrador are stitched together by ancient sutures, the seams of vanished continents. Hundreds of millions of years ago, this land was ground zero for continental collisions. Gondwana, Laurentia, and Avalonia smashed together here, raising mountains that once rivaled the Himalayas. Though eroded, their ghosts remain in folded rocks, tilted cliffs and valleys that still bear the scars of tectonic war. Today, this region is not just a relic, it's still shifting. Offshore, the Atlantic seafloor is spreading, pulling North America and Europe farther apart each year. Seismic surveys reveal hidden faults beneath the Grand Banks, some linked to undersea landslides and even ancient tsunamis. And the risks aren't purely ancient. In 1929, a magnitude 7.2 earthquake off the coast triggered a deadly submarine landslide. A tsunami slammed into Newfoundland's Burin Peninsula, killing 28 people and sweeping entire villages into the sea. It remains one of the most tragic geological disasters in Canadian history. The lesson? Even at Canada's edge of the world, the ground and sea are never truly still.
Chapter 9.
Nunavut's final frontier, what lies beneath the ice. We end where Canada itself seems to end, Nunavut, a land of silence, ice and stone, stretching across the Arctic Circle like the edge of the known world. To the eye, it looks timeless. Glaciers grinding across tundra, frozen seas holding the horizon still. But beneath that frozen shield lies perhaps the greatest geological mystery of all. Beneath the kilometers-thick ice sheets, scientists have discovered subglacial lakes, pockets of liquid water trapped in darkness for millions of years. Sealed away from sunlight, oxygen, and the surface world, these lakes may harbor life forms unlike anything we've ever seen. Microbes adapted to alien conditions, organisms thriving without light, without warmth, cut off from evolution as we know it. To study them is to peer into a mirror of other worlds, what Europa or Enceladus might look like beneath their frozen shells. But the mystery doesn't stop at water. The very bedrock of Nunavut, the Canadian Shield, is one of Earth's oldest survivors. Hard, unyielding stone, more than 4 billion years old. Within it, geologists have found chemical fingerprints of ancient oceans, and even possible traces of microbial life from Earth's earliest days. To hold a piece of this rock is to touch the dawn of the planet. And yet, Nunavut is far from still. As its ice sheets melt, the land is literally rising in a process known as isostatic rebound. Freed from the crushing weight of glaciers, the crust springs upward, reshaping coastlines and altering drainage patterns. But this rebound also has another, more dangerous side. It can reactivate old faults, awaken hidden cracks in the crust, and even trigger earthquakes in places long thought silent. Beneath Nunavut's stillness lies a paradox. The memory of Earth's birth locked in stone, and the restless potential of its future written in ice. What secrets remain sealed under its frozen shield? And when the ice finally pulls back, what will the land reveal? Chapter 10. The Living Land of Canada. From Niagara's roaring falls to Nunavut's frozen silence, Canada's geology tells a story not of stillness, but of restlessness. It is a land forged by fire, shattered by ice, and rewritten by water. A story of scars left by asteroids, of volcanoes hiding beneath mountains, of faults that may one day shake the North to its core. We like to think of Canada as unshakable, an anchor of stability in a chaotic world, but the truth is different. This land is alive. It breathes in seismic whispers. It shifts beneath permafrost collapse. It holds in its rocks the memories of ancient oceans and vanished worlds. Every discovery, from billion-year-old fossils locked in the shield to fractures beneath Niagara's thundering curtain, reminds us that Canada is not finished. It is still evolving, still restless, still carving its place on the planet. And that raises deeper questions. If the ground beneath us carries the weight of 4 billion years of history, what else is it hiding? What secrets are still buried beneath ice sheets, locked in volcanic chambers, or waiting in forgotten valleys? Could the greatest discoveries still lie ahead? And could some of those secrets pose risks we have yet to imagine? Because geology is not just history, it is prophecy. The same forces that shaped Canada's past will shape its future. Earthquakes will come, faults will shift, rivers will carve new paths, and ice will rise and fall. The only uncertainty is when, and whether we are ready. Niagara to Nunavut. Canada's geological heart has spoken. In thunder, in silence, in stone. The land is alive, and it will not stop speaking. The only question left is, are we listening closely enough before it speaks again? If you want more deep dive stories into the Earth's greatest mysteries, don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell, and share this video, because Canada's land is alive, and its secrets are only just beginning to surface.